Oh my goodness. Well, good afternoon. My name is Dr. Kimberly Barrington, and you are, oh my gosh, enjoying our inaugural When Women Step Up. I am so excited about this because, as many of you know, I ran for state representative for House District number 79. And it was truly for 2022, the year of the woman. We had more women of color who ran, and many of them did it because of Roe versus Wade. And so, just these phenomenal women that I had an opportunity to meet as I was on the campaign trail. But many of you know that me and Miss Hadley go back way before a campaign trail. And I told her that I wanted to do this show and it was going to be a new show for 2023. And I wanted her to be the very first guest. And she acquiesced. So I am just excited to. This is my first show since October live. Wow. I've definitely taken a major hiatus and have really tried to get my health together after such a long year of campaigning. And how are you today?
Well, I am great today. There's sun outside, the snow has stopped, and it's a great afternoon to spend the time with you and your audience.
Oh, I'm so excited. I don't know what to do. I don't even know where to start. If you could see this woman's resume, you would just say, ah! Yeah. Uh, you would definitely be overwhelmed by the resume. But it's not so much the resume that impresses me, but it is you, the person that I've had the opportunity to get to know since you came back to West Michigan. So if you can kind of tell the people just a little bit, so I want you guys to know it's a running joke with us that she lived out east. And I mean, she was with the movers and shakers. I'm telling you, people, she was with some movers and some shakers, and so um, she just has graced West Michigan with her presence, and for that we are all most grateful. But you are homegrown though.
I am a Muskegon native, born and raised in the Muskegon area, the land of the Reese Puffer Rockets in Muskegon. And so I have to always give Muskegon and Michigan their props because they really shaped me for the world. You know, my foundation was shaped right in Muskegon. In West Michigan, I spent a lot of time in the Grand Rapids area because I had an aunt who lived right there on, what is it? It starts with the W. It just escaped me when you're coming off the highway.
Wealthy?
And Wealthy Street. Yeah, it escaped me. And I believe maybe a block from the DeBarge family or something, but it was like this really crazy mesh of us, and we didn't know that they were going to be who they were, and I didn't know that I would ever come back to Grand Rapids and know the cobblestone area, you know, on Wealthy Street, and
Yes.
remember that I walked up and down Wealthy Street, Eastern, and all of the and what was it, Martin Luther King Park for the pool.
Oh
So
my
I would
goodness,
like to think
yes.
that I have a really great foundation in West Michigan. And I do say that intentionally, that shaped me for the world, because little did I know that after graduating from Western Michigan University in Kalamazoo, that I would spend some time, you know, in Chicago working for Fashion Fair Cosmetics, and then moving on to San Diego to work for the Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising, you know, headquartered in LA, that I would be able to keep, and I know we talked about this earlier, but to have the tenacity to endure all of these major geographical areas, metropolitan areas, as a little girl growing up in North Muskegon, Michigan. So I am just indebted to Michigan for really setting the foundation, a strong foundation for me to go and learn and experience other parts of this world. And so being back after being away, I left, I think, early 90s. I left Michigan in 90 in December to go to San Diego, California, and just returned about 5 years ago to West Michigan. So I've been gone for quite a bit of time, and to come back a couple of years before COVID to spend some time, as you know, we're daddy's girls, and to spend time with my dad, who gave, General Motors 30 years of his life, and to spend the last probably 4 years before he transitioned last year has been priceless, has been the best full circle life experience I could have ever imagined.
Okay, there. Can you hear me now?
Yep. Okay. Yep.
Okay.
Did you hear me?
Yeah, it said, "Oh, your mic is muted." I said, "What?" I think that West Michigan is definitely grateful for your journey, because many who would have left and garnered all of the experiences that you have don't normally come back. They really don't. And the fact that you did, we are almost grateful. And to bring that, as we use that term, tenacity, I think is our term today. And that's a whole nother side conversation.
Yeah,
And,
like, I don't even know.
and I'm seeing that, okay, I'm getting it, tenacity. And so we're gonna stick with that. That's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day. But we definitely appreciate just the level and the caliber of work that you have brought back. Many travel, go places, and they kind of live the life of Riley. But you really, each place that you were, you dug in, you found great people to connect yourself to so that you could learn and grow. I like to call it, it's that Pharaoh syndrome, because, or Moses, where Moses learned everything that he needed in Pharaoh's house until it was time for him to come back home to his people and deliver his people. And so that's how, when I look at you, that's what I see. You have been in Pharaoh's house, whether that was in California, Pennsylvania. Did I say that right? Pennsylvania?
Yeah.
It was Pennsylvania? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
In Pennsylvania, and even kind of migrating a little bit in that DC area and getting some political know-how under your belt. And for you to bring that back, home to your people has just been phenomenal.
Yeah. And I didn't really know how long I was going to stay. I didn't know if it was just going to be a temporary stay to kind of help my family or my dad out while he was, going through some health challenges. So I was kind of under the radar. I didn't really want to kind of show up because I didn't want to get, committed to anything, and just kind of want to come in and kind of sneak out. But, when your steps are ordered, and I tell people this that understand that term, you have no control of how things are going to happen. You just really have to be, ready to do whatever happens. And I am just so thankful that I was ready to serve in my community, because I felt almost like a stranger in my own community because I had been gone for so long, and a lot.
Yeah, can we talk about that piece a little bit? Because there are many that I meet along the way, and I guess I don't want to say it's my testimony per se, but for all intents and purposes, it is. I joined the military at 17 and left. And when I came back, I was almost 30. I mean, that's a lifetime. You know, I came back with a husband and babies and, just a whole family, and things were so different, you know. They, I think for lack of, you know, a better term, it's just different. And I think that you understand that, and those who have ever left and come back. We have, hey Tanya, how are you? She says, speak the truth on her, Dr. Kim. Aw. There's another one of our sisters. Thank you so much for tuning in today. She's coming all the way in from Texas. Whoop whoop. So we appreciate that. I think there is that difficulty of being received if you're not from here. You're not a excuse me, a native.
Right.
And then when you say, well, I am a native, I just left, then it's like, I think somebody coined me, I was a inside, outside, inside person. I was like, what does that mean? Well, you were inside and then you left, so that made you an outsider, and now you're back. So now, you got to kind of be that insider. And I think that's something that's difficult to navigate.
Right. And I think it's also the excuse that we all use when we are interested in coming back home. We use the excuse of, well, I don't want people to think I failed, or that, something happened bad. But a lot of times it's that we don't want to go back and relearn or re-enter or integrate back into an area that we do, we've got to prove ourselves, or we got to relearn family and friends, because it's one thing to see them on the weekend or for special events. But when you come back home to live and to really integrate back into the family day to day, they get to know you and you get to know them. And I think that's the biggest challenge, is relearning your family, your community, and your friends that are a lot different than what you left. For me, it's almost been 30 years. And I will tell, this hint, or one of my Henrietta hints that I give folks, that sometimes it's okay to come back and just serve or sit or be quiet and learn from the new environment that you've entered. And I think that's hard sometimes, depending on the role you played as a sibling or a family member, or if you were all of this and all of that where you come from, and then you got to come to your new area or back home, and you've got to sit and watch. And because you and I are both believers, you got to pray that
absolutely
will lead you to the right places. And then, believe it or not, and I go back to, when your steps are ordered, it's in His time that you will be received, and you will also find your tribe. And that's why I'm glad Tanya just chimed in, and we've had these conversations. You really do have to find your support system when you come home, so that you can share and give to a community that you love and that you want to see expand in ways that your experience can help.
You are tuning into When Women Step Up. I am so excited that this is a new show for 100 Shades of Diversability, where we improve the quality of life for persons with diverse abilities, legislatively, economically, through community partnerships and education. And as I stated at the outset, is that running for state rep, in 2022, just the number of women that were just powerful and mighty. And there are so many that are just unsung, that we just don't know that, wow, you do this in the community. And even people, we can even talk about the governor, that, yep, she might be on television. Yep, you may see her do things, but how many times do we see somebody just actually celebrate her
Mm-hmm.
and just say, hey, you know what? We appreciate you. We want to thank you for stepping up. And so that's where, you know, I said, you know what? I'm going to create the space and I'm going to feature all of these wonderful women. I cannot
Mm-hmm.
wait. And I love it because you've been on the show before, but in another capacity. Let's see,
Mm-hmm.
what do we have here? Aww. And for those who don't know, Tanya Richardson also is from the Muskegon area, and she also served in the military as well. And so she's one who has gone away, come back, and
Mm-hmm.
I call it. I think they call them snowbirds when you live the winter where it's nicer, warmer, and then you come here when it gets nice again. You know, but I really wanted to take the time so people can see the other parts of people that
Mm-hmm.
that just doesn't get celebrated. You know, you just see them, you know that they do, but they have a story that we can all benefit from. And there are many women that I found that were transplants and said, you
Mm-hmm.
know what, Dr. Kimberly, I'm having such a difficult time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh, okay, well, let's help bridge some of these gaps and let's look at what is happening.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think a couple of things that you hit on. Number one is having to come back to an area not knowing how you're going to be perceived.
Mm-hmm.
Because you talked about, well, you know, if you come back, it's because of failure. And it's like, well, how about my time was up where I was?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so I think that when you kind of cut through some of that tape of, nope, I didn't fail. Nope, I didn't, you know, just come
Mm-hmm.
back. There wasn't anything negative.
Right. Right. And that's important because, again, I was so focused on coming back to make sure that I could be of assistance to my family that I really wasn't thinking. But then as I started, hearing conversations and other scenarios, I was like, oh, well, if that's what they think, that's what they'll have to think. But if that's a normal way of thinking for folks that are making the decision or trying to figure out, should I go back? I really want to say, come back for your own purpose, but it will have some challenges. But the one good thing about coming back was I didn't come with an intent to do any one thing outside of taking care of my dad. So when I was offered the opportunity to volunteer for a women's veterans nonprofit, and then I said yes for a weekend. I wanted to just go into the woods and enjoy these campfires with, women veterans. That's what I thought. It really tore at my heart that I had found an area that I wanted to volunteer my time. So as I said earlier, it could just be coming back and just volunteering or just helping out here or there. And then, believe it or not, you will find out how your experience and your heart lines up with the work that you're going to do. And that's really how I started working with women veterans like yourself. And the women veterans that I've been blessed to work for and to serve in the capacity of a civilian has motivated me since I've been home to do the work that I'm doing now through my own business as a business consultant for women veteran owned companies or nonprofits or individuals that are representing underserved communities in any capacity. That's how my work really started. Was I thought I could stay here in Michigan and I could just pool all of my resources together and start to continue the work I was doing in Pennsylvania by, availing myself to individuals that are interested in, starting a business, expanding a business, or just innovation at heart, just an idea. And that's really how I've stepped up now that I'm back home in Muskegon, is I've stepped up with just sharing resources and connecting folks to the information that they need.
And that's a great segue into, Infinite Solutions. I love the name. I love Infinity. Uh, Everybody knows Buzz Lightyear, Infinity and beyond. Yeah. Anybody who's got kids, grandkids, Toy Story, we got reintroduced to that term, infinity. um, but when you add it to a business and you added the word solutions, it's like, oh my gosh. It's like an explosion, an implosion. And I don't know if you realize it, but when I saw it says infinite solutions, and then you add consulting, I'm like, wow. Wow, wow,
Right.
wow.
And I have to give the credit for the name to the former director of the Michigan Veterans Affairs Agency, Director Zanetta Adams. That was the name of the consulting business that she and I were going to pitch in the Michigan Veterans Entrepreneurship Lab pitch competition, co-starters program, probably maybe 4 years ago. She and I
Has it been that long?
Yep. And
Oh my
we were there, and a lot of the key players there, but Mike and some of the other facilitators were like, well, what's going to be the name of you all's business since you want to do a consulting business? And Zanetta was like, Infinite Solutions. It's like what you said, it's infinity. It never stops. And then, it's the endless possibilities. And I was just like, okay, we're going to do that. So that was really something that she and I were going to pitch during that first cohort in the Michigan Veterans Entrepreneurship Lab. But Julie and Mike said, hey, we understand you all want to pitch this new consulting firm, but you already have a well-oiled will in Wink. So why don't you pitch Wink and tell us what more we can do to help you with getting Wink into the eyes and ears of other women veterans across the state. And so
okay, let's put a pin right there.
Yeah, so we stayed.
Let's put a pin right there. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I'm saying that, and I want everyone, whether you're watching it live or you're watching it on the replay, a no or a delay does not mean that it can't happen, that it shouldn't happen.
That's right.
And sometimes it gives us an opportunity to say, okay, it may not be for your audience, but it is for another audience. And maybe you're not the one to make this move, because I think that we spend a lot of time attaching ourselves to things and people and groups, and we believe that it's them, and they're constantly telling us no or putting us on the back burner. And so you get frustrated and angry, and then there's hurt feelings, and you fall out with people, not realizing that maybe they're just not the ones to help you to get that done.
Right. And the timing, because that was not that
number
timing.
2. Right. And then number 2, it may not be the time.
That's it. And that was right before COVID, and none of us saw COVID coming.
Yeah.
But when COVID hit, it was when everyone started looking at more innovative ways to be relevant and to scale their businesses. And then, no, I don't think it might have been right after the summer of COVID that it hit me. And I said, I think it's time for Infinite Solutions. And here we are 2 years later, and Infinite Solutions has been helping organizations and individuals with their business plans and their business ideas.
And I think that it's phenomenal. So I'm really hoping that as you're watching this, you're taking notes. So definitely our first takeaway is look at who you're connected to. Are you connected to the right people that are going to get you to where you need to be? And sometimes we are very comfortable because, oh, I know them. So sometimes we have to step outside of our comfort zone. Number two, timing is everything.
Yeah.
And women, since this is, when women step up, many of you know that you're supposed to carry a baby for 40 weeks. And so we want to make sure that everything is timed and is going to make sure that baby gets here on time. And when we have situations that come up that causes us to deliver the baby prematurely, all of the complications, oh my goodness, ask me how I know, because I had two of them. I had a set of twins that were born at 26 and a half weeks or 27 weeks. That's extremely, extremely early. Not just for one baby, but for two babies.
Right.
And so if you think of your business as a baby, and the other thing that I love to tell people, when they come to me for consultation, I'll say there's a reason why the babies grow on the inside of us. And the fact that the only way we can see the baby is through a special machine, and it's called, a sonogram. And the only people who get to see it is you and the doctor.
Right.
That it's not exposed to the whole world. And so you have to treat your business the same way.
Exactly. And that's important because, now that I'm, using this service to help entrepreneurs or small business owners to expand, they have to believe that they can trust in me when they're sharing a lot of those business baby ideas, or if I'm giving them some, counsel or coaching in those areas. And so you're absolutely right. Being willing to listen and to move in the time, or even making some of those, taking some of those baby steps and moving outside of the time is altogether a learning experience. And so it's just been nice. It's been nice to sit at the feet of a lot of the organizations and programs that are available to us as startups and entrepreneurs. I know everyone out there who is probably thinking about their own business baby. I wasn't afraid with my experience and my background to tap into SCORE or the Small Business Development Center, or to, work with some of these, I guess they're venture capital organizations or the Grows of the world, to find out what's out there, so that when I am working with individuals who are starting businesses and nonprofits, I can give them those resources and they're accurate, because if you have a baby, you want to make sure you got the right diapers and the right formula or the right this or the right that. And so I like the analogy about the babies, because as a consultant, that is where I really want my value to lie when I'm working with these individuals, that the information has value and that it's coming from reputable resources that they can.
And I think that's the piece that we miss, is that there's so much misinformation. And we definitely have gotten, over this last 2.5, 3 years, a lot of misinformation.
Exactly.
And we see the effects that it's had on us as a community. And so I appreciate and respect the fact that you do. I mean, you do your homework. You make sure that whatever I'm getting ready to tell you, that this came from a reputable source. It's not outdated. And you will definitely be able to benefit from what it is that I'm giving to you.
And I think connecting too with a lot of these organizations that have been put in place for us, Tanya being on, she knows that, I will do everything I can to make sure I'm connected with the Chamber of Commerce. And we have the women's, the U.S. Women's Chamber of Commerce. We have our local Chamber of Commerces, and I want to be at those meetings. I want to be at the table. So if my clients can't be there, at least I can go back to them and say, hey, they're giving out this type of small business funding, or there's this pitch competition coming up. And over the last probably 4 months, I have been just over the top with making sure that information is getting to our small businesses, and preferably our underserved small businesses. And you may know that we have the Black Wall Street Muskegon, and there's just Black Wall Street platforms and social medias across the country. But in Muskegon, we've done some amazing things with working with Black and Brown business owners by having a social media platform called the Black Wall Street Muskegon. And it's founded and managed and led by Lachey Simmons, too, because she is a namesake of her mom. But this 30-year-old has taken the platform and has scaled it to the point where Dr. Kimberly, she offers this is her second year where she offered an expo, a business expo. And at this business expo, there were over 100 small businesses that were highlighted. They had their booths, they had their product, and it was right in the center of Muskegon, Michigan, at the new Van Dyke Mortgage Convention Center. And I was blown away. The first year I volunteered, the second year I had Infinite Solutions exposed there with an exhibitors area. And when I saw all of those businesses, I knew that I needed to be a part of just whatever they were going to offer. And she offered a pitch competition for 2 years in a row. And this year, Infinite Solutions was asked to facilitate the boot camp. And so we facilitated a 6-week boot camp for 7 finalists for this Mind Your Own Black Business pitch competition. And it was outstanding and amazing on how she was able to fund 7 finalists, but also give a grand prize of $5,000 to the winner. And I knew then that I had found my purpose in sharing information when it comes to equipping business owners, and specifically women. So I needed to give that shameless plug, because that has been a highlight over the last couple of months.
I appreciate that. And as much as we don't like to have to say it, this is 2023, and there is still this disenfranchised group of persons of color. And, those, even based on gender. And so we appreciate you. Did I say that out loud? We appreciate you. I'm saying it again. We appreciate you, Henrietta Hadley, for your tenacity in staying, at the forefront of what's happening within this community and even beyond. We appreciate you. And I think I'm getting a little emotional, because there are very few people who will look outside of themselves. And we as people of color have had we call it in-house crabs in a bucket. That when one starts to climb out, we find a way, either with our words, our actions, um, to pull you back in. Um, Spread, even rumors, or, get other people just to stop and say, look what she's doing. I don't know why she's doing that. And you know how we do. And for you to rise above all of that and being that inside, outside person, and now coming back inside, and you have cut through all of that in such a short amount of time, is just phenomenal. We have, what does this say? It says, this past year, Henrietta has really gone out of her way to give myself and other. And there you have it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's almost like ministry, and I think I can say that with you and your audience, is that sometimes we're always looking at, what can I do? How can I be a part? How can I, make an impact? But for me, service just has been the key to my DNA. And I'm sure a lot of it came from being the little girl in the car while my granny was going from house to house, picking up flower money when someone died in the community, or if somebody needed shoes for a wedding, she was going, and finding where she could get shoes, or gathering all of our clothes from church or Easter Sundays and packaging them, washing them, and taking them to the family that had a fire. So I've been at the feet of that ever since I've been born. And I'm my granny's namesake. So my granny was Henrietta, and I'm Henrietta. And I was under her 24/7 while my mom was returning back to school. And I just saw her do a good thing. And I didn't know any different. And so I believe in the 50 something years that I've been on this earth, I start to emulate that gifting of service. And it just starts to show up in everything I do. Even when I say out of my mouth, I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm not interested. If they call me, I'm not going to answer. I mean, I have had some conversations with me, but my heart won't let me stop.
Right.
And so I really, really do appreciate your accolades and your flowers today, because it's not, I probably make it look easy, because anything, again, that's ordered or that's gifted to you, you can give freely.
Yeah.
And so I just am thankful that I have been entrusted with the responsibility to take the information and share it with organizations and individuals, like our women veterans. I see Heidi on there. Like our underserved communities. You're absolutely right. It's 2023. We should not need to have this funding for this and this resource for that, but we do. And the blessing is we know how to be good stewards of it. So no, you're not going to see that crab mentality while I'm at the helm of whatever I've been asked to do, because I get it. It's been put together for all of us to benefit. And it takes good leadership to know that. And it takes an open heart to provide that. And I just feel like, I can be trusted with it. So while I'm in the responsibility seat, I have to be a good steward of it. And it's like I said, there's some days I'm just like ready to hang it up and say, I'm just going to sleep it away. But I can't.
There we go. Can you hear me now? Okay. Mm-hmm. So we appreciate that. We truly do. And I want to go back to when you said that it's a ministry. It absolutely is. And People ask me all the time, well, how do you do it? You're in that wheelchair. And I'm telling you, I've probably done more since I've been in the chair than I ever did up walking around.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just what we have been called to. It's what we do, and we definitely appreciate it. And it's moments like this where we can share our platforms and say, hey, you know, you made it. These are all the things that it took. And I appreciate the transparency, for both of us to have those conversations of, yeah, I was from here, then I came back home and now I'm doing these things. And it is my hopes that if it's just one person that gets something out of this, then it has been worth doing. It took us like 5 tries because I haven't really done this since October. So I'm like, yep. And still having some issues with my voice and my asthma, but I'm grateful to be back and to be able to have this conversation with you. And as you can see, her information is scrolling. She is the CEO of Infinite Solutions Consulting Group, and she can be reached at 231. Okay, got 846
8792.
I'm trying to be cute, now put my glasses down.
Put your glasses on because you look cute in your glasses. And just know
I got a couple of pair here. I feel like Fred Sanford. I got this pair. I got this pair.
Oh, yeah. Purple, of course. And just know if anyone is interested in reaching out, you can give me a call. I do have a Facebook page. My Facebook business page is Infinite Solutions Consulting Group. I do my due diligence to keep the page pretty active and keeping my clients and potential clients up to date to what I'm doing and who I'm working with. I work with anybody from candles to cannabis. So I am not a respecter of persons in terms of you got to be this person or that person. I do specialize with my veteran organizations and my Black and Brown communities because, as you said, there are some special requirements to make sure that they are represented well. But if anyone calls me, quick story, I had a woman who called me because she wanted to write a book about her missing mother, who's still missing. And she wanted to write a book and wanted someone to sit with her to just kind of put together that idea. And so I will work with anyone that is interested, because if I can't help you, I know Dr. Kimberly can, or someone out there that has the resources and the information will be available to do that. So even if you just call and we just have a chat on where you want to go, my goal is to get you connected to where you need to be.
And the other piece, so we've talked about this, but if you are a person who has a diverse ability, whether it's depression or anxiety, fibromyalgia, you have lupus. There are a plethora of disses that you can have, and you're trying to think like, can I start a business? Absolutely. What I do, having the show, it's a business. Mm-hmm. And so we definitely are going to create that space together that, mm-hmm. It's called minding this business, DIS business. That if you are the principal, you want to start this business, but you have, some disabilities or some challenges, mm-hmm. don't let that preclude you from starting a business, because I'm sure you have found a way. If you have lupus, how to make your days better. There's mm-hmm. one young lady who is in Texas. I love her dearly. Her lupus propelled her to become, I don't know, what do you call that? When someone dresses you?
A stylist.
A stylist.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And so she's become a stylist. And through that, showing how she gets through those bad days through her dressing and
Mhm.
her eating habits. I mean, there's a way to create a business out of anything.
Anything.
And
Exactly.
there is somebody who's definitely going to need it. Um, a quick shout out, we love to do shameless plugs to Autumn Hartpence, who is a veteran. She was in my cohort for the Michigan Veterans Entrepreneur Lab, and she just had a baby. So that means it changed her life. So today she says, "Hey, I was thinking about starting this business, and these are the three logos I was thinking about. What do you think?" How honored.
That's great. And congratulations to Autumn.
So we're doing like this, yay, Autumn.
Yeah.
Because every time I love my veteran community, I love my disability community.
Mhm.
Because, and this is why I'm so in love with your name, is that in both of those communities, we always have infinite solutions
Congratulations.
to life.
Mm.
We always do. And she and I took a moment to talk about some of, the challenges of being a mother and working, and what does
Mhm.
that look like. And I said, wow, it's my twins will be 36 years old.
Right.
36. Oh my gosh. They getting old. I'm getting younger. Anyway, um, they'll be 36 years old. And I told her, I can't imagine doing it now. And I said, but I had twins, one
Mhm.
natural, one by cesarean, and I was back at work in 30 days.
Wow. Superpowers.
I was like, who just does
Who's
that?
that? Superpowers.
But you do what you have to do.
Mhm.
And you're always looking for that infinite solution. And it's
Mhm.
like, we can always rehearse the problem, but it's like, if you come to me, please don't expect me to have, not that I'm not empathetic, it's just when you've experienced so much in life,
Mhm.
you start looking for solutions and stop rehearsing the problem.
Oh, I love that. I love
You
that.
know that.
And that's why we need you. I mean, because you give us a platform, and as this being your first show for 2023, I'm sure there's going to be many women that are going to be able to now share this platform and step into their voice because they're going to hear us that have stepped up to our purpose. And so I just want to say thank you for having the tenacity out of all of the areas that you're working in to say I want to continue a platform for the voice of the woman, and the voice of the woman or the individual with all the discs, because as you know, there's a how many discs.
Oh my gosh. So there are 1,683 words in the English language that begin with the prefix dis. And so you can find yourself in there. You can be disillusioned.
Mhm.
You can feel disrespected,
Mhm.
um, dismayed.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, I mean,
Yes.
everybody experiences some sort of dis every single day. We all do. And so when we realize that the playing field now has been even, because
Mhm.
it's like, oh, we all have been dissed. Oh, yes, we have. And we come into those areas, whether it's a small business or becoming an entrepreneur, you know,
Mhm.
and say, wow, I feel disadvantaged.
Right. And
Yeah.
I think your audience should know that you too have an amazing service with your confident coaching. I just love that. And I probably am saying it wrong, but to build the confidence that an individual needs to come on your platform or to participate in a pitch competition or to share your idea in a business plan or to go and visit a mentor at SCORE, it requires confidence to believe in yourself, one, and then two, to step out to share the idea or the business with someone. So I just want to say your confident coaching is phenomenal. And I would encourage folks to reach out to you for that, as I would just like to encourage any of our veteran community that's listening or watching to think about meeting us on March 1st in Muskegon at the Grand Valley Hub to hear about the Michigan Veterans Entrepreneurship Lab. The money is up to $20,000 since you and I were in the pitch competition. And I just want everyone from our veterans community to just come out. You might have an idea. Your grandchild might have an idea. Your daughter, your son, your husband, your wife.
Absolutely.
Just
Absolutely.
come out, because it builds confidence if it doesn't build anything else. And last but not least, I am going to be offering a boot camp for anyone that wants to join our boot camps. We're going to be offering monthly boot camps just to get folks excited about ideas that's in their head that need to come out from their heart. So they can call or go on my Facebook page, and I'll have that posted, and I'll send it to you as well, so that anyone that's watching or listening that just needs to get that confidence, they can come through the boot camp, and we can give them some of that confidence to come over to you for confidence coaching. And then who knows, go out into the world and share all of those giftings that we're sharing with the folks that need them, because we're needed. No matter who you are, someone needs you.
Absolutely. And I really want to close with this. Number one, I want to say thank you for coming and for sharing. And I felt that it was important that people understand your journey, not just, okay, you have this business, this is what you do, but a lot of times people don't know the process that it takes. So I wanted to say thank you for sharing the process on today. Not that, oh, you just woke up, you have this business and you're doing well, you're looking good, you're doing pop-up shops, for weeks on end for those persons who have businesses. But there was a process. There was a process to this. And so thank you for sharing the process. And if you're a woman and you're doing something great or phenomenal and people haven't heard about you, don't know about you, please get in contact with me. I would love to have a conversation with you and have you on the show. I would love. We are in all 50 states and in 9 countries. So you're going to get lots of exposure. lots of exposure. And then have the opportunity to be able to be a sponsor, and we can do a commercial, and we'll do a commercial break and say, hey, you know what? This show today is being sponsored by Infinite Solutions.
Yay.
So I'm really excited to be able to offer that. And I want to say to anybody, you are now without excuse as to why you can't, you shouldn't. It doesn't matter what happened yesterday, because if we could tell you about what happened to us on yesterday, you say, why do you even get out of the bed? And it's because there is a Tanya, there's a Heidi, there is a Ratanji, there is a Shayna, there's a Vicky who's all the way in California, who needs you to get up and get out of the bed and answer your call.
Good.
We need you to answer your call, because everything that happens is built on blocks, and we need you to be an answer to prayer. There is somebody who is praying to God for what it is that you have to offer. They're praying. And the Bible says that hope deferred makes the heart sick. And so there's someone who is sick right now because you haven't stepped up to do what you need to do. The women who had their items in the pop-up shop for a whole week before Christmas. Can you imagine had Henrietta not stepped up? That would have never happened. Look at the domino effect.
Mm-hmm.
When you don't do your part, when you don't step up, it's a domino effect. There's somebody who's been praying for what it is that that you do. Uh, Heidi, no. You have to know Heidi is to love Heidi. I'm telling you. I love her beyond words. But we need you to step up. We need you to step up, and there's no more excuses. None, 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 none. There are no more excuses. Today is the day. Now is the time. This is the hour. We need you, and ah, we need you to show up to life. We do, because we need what it is that you have, and you are an answer to prayer. So thank you so much for tuning in to, oh my gosh, the very first When Women Step Up. And I want to say thank you to Miss Hadley for agreeing to be the first. Oh my gosh. But it won't be the last time, and you'll see her back again. You know, she'll probably come in and co-host or come in and do some shows while we're offline across the country or something like that. Or we're probably
Yeah, and I'm interested in being a sponsor, so I really want to talk to you about that because that's another way for us to support one another as women and to let other women know it is a thing called supporting one another and fixing each other's crowns when they get a little side.
oh my gosh. So she's gonna make me wear my crown on the next show, okay?
Right, because you are a queen.
Woohoo. Miss Wheelchair, 2019.
Yes, yes,
All right.
yes.
All
Yes,
right.
you
So thank
are.
you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you again live next Wednesday at 4. And we'll start on time this time. I think I'm getting back into my rhythm. Oh, we got one more. Here we go. Thank you. We appreciate you.
Take care.